Okay. All right, guys. Good morning again. That was a fast 1 minute, but it is two past the hour. Hey, just want to welcome everyone to the 2024 product update for TEXTON's Motorization. Um, I have with me Jeb Sims. So he is one of our hosts, or he is the other host. So Jeb is actually Jeb joined us back almost a year ago, right?
Yep, this is April.
Yep. So he is our program director for everything motorization and IT. So we are thrilled to have him. If you didn't know the backstory, he is Leanne Sims' husband. So Leanne Sims, who is our queen of customer service, this is the other. I guess not the better half, but
definitely not the better half. Definitely not the prettier half.
He is the half, right?
Yes.
So, anyways, so folks, we have a really great schedule this morning. We have a lot of about four things to cover. I do want to introduce the Bond Bridge Pro. We have two special guests with us, Daria and Perry Fox from Bond. So very psyched to have them on board here. We're going to also introduce and talk about the Somfy Power over Ethernet capabilities for commercial applications. And then our last topic will be the Somfy Zigbee product. And then from there, we'll jump into some question and answer and so forth. But before we kind of jump in, just a couple of housekeeping items. So I do want to ask that each of you remain on mute. I know Daria and Perry have been unmuted, so that is perfectly fine. So thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat window below or off to the right. I will be monitoring them as we go. If I see any important questions that need to be answered, as we're going along, I'll stop and ask them. But I do want to maybe reserve most of the question and answer till the end of the presentation. So we'll take about maybe 40 minutes to 45 minutes to cover the information here, and then we'll allot the rest of the time for a question and answer. So without any further ado, I do want to introduce Jeb. So as you can tell, Jeb is a hashtag girl dad, right?
Yes,
so Jeb, let's kind of give a background on yourself and we'll jump into it. So
absolutely. Thanks, Ryan. And hello, everyone. So yes, girl dad, we've got Heaven Rose is 25. Kaylee is turning 18 this Sunday. And then Ivy is 16 and has just started driving. So we've got some fun and excitement going on in the house and just in life in general. So kind of my background, my story, 25 years in the IT side of things, 17 of those in healthcare IT. Been a lifelong tech enthusiast. Both of my parents were computer programmers, and yeah, it just kind of was in my blood to be in technology, and everything else just kind of came naturally to me. I do have 9 years of window covering experience through marriage. As Ryan said, Leanne and I are married. And yeah, it's been a fun whirlwind there. Let's see, I joined TEXTON back in April last year as exterior customer service and filled that spot for Leanne until we could find a replacement for me to take that over so that I could move into the IT side of things. And Karina took that over. And if you haven't had a chance to deal with her, she is amazing, a lot of fun, and definitely an awesome service person. Yeah, I think that's about it.
So two questions. So
yes,
what is your favorite thing about working here at TEXTON, and why do you love working with a motorization?
Awesome. Favorite thing. I'll go ahead and go with Leanne's unfavorite thing is we actually get to ride together to work and save on gas. She hates that, but we actually share that and kind of compromise. She gets to drive to work and then I get to drive home. She is one of those that she loves to be 15 to 20 minutes early to everything. And and then motorization. Really, kind of like I said earlier, it just kind of comes natural. It's just what I have fun with. Just getting to see the things that we can do and play with things, play with new technologies, play with old technologies, really just kind of dig into things. And yeah, I just have a lot of fun with it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, all right. So good good intro there. You'll hear more from Jeb as we kind of walk through this. Um, but I do want to talk about, so many of you are actually new to TEXTON. So with that, I do want to kind of walk through our products and the motors that are offered with our products. Um, so on this slide here, what you're looking at is a kind of like a condensed overview of our products. And so everything from our color roller shades to our newly released basics program, our Highland Park Roman shade and drapery, exterior shades, Walden, and our William House honeycomb. And just to kind of walk through this real quickly, I'll get into some detail going forward. But within color, so you have your option of our Volta program, which is also manufactured by Rolls Acnita, and that's offered as a battery, low voltage, and 110, and you've got your standard control functions as a remote control, your Pulse 2 Wi-Fi hub, as well as a low voltage power panel for some more advanced integrations. We also carry a Somfy. So right now, as I'm talking about this, we also we offer the Somfy a battery, the low voltage, and just as a quick aside, the Somfy low voltage is a 24 volt because it is a European based system. And they also offer the 110 volt, which is and so 110 is your house a wire. So and then what we have there is, so for the control and connectivity, you've got your remote control, your Tahoma, and also your low voltage power panel, just like for Rollies. For basics, this is where we introduce our new Volta 2 system. So this is a proprietary system that is battery only and currently offer just a remote control to control it. Highland Park. This is a collection that is when you elect to have a motorist option, you actually get the Eve, or excuse me, the motion motors from Cooley's. And then the two options for that are the remote control and Wi-Fi hub with exterior shades. So again, very similar to what we have with color. So we offer both the Volta and Somfy collection. Each of those are 110. And because it is an exterior shade, you can only have a 110 a motor at this time. And your two control options from there are a remote control or the Wi-Fi hub being the Pulse 2 hub or the Tahoma and so forth. With our Walden collection and our portfolio natural rollers, that is the motorized option there is from Duya. And so you also have the battery, low voltage, and the 110 volt to connect to other Internet of Things devices. You can do your P hub, and you also have a standard remote control. And then for our honeycomb collection from a William House, same thing. It is a DU based option, a battery, low voltage, and 110, and remote control, and a P hub. Yep. So again, just a very quick overview of which motors go with what product. But today, I'm totally psyched to actually announce that we are introducing the Bond Bridge Pro from Bond actually. So if you are actually not familiar with Bond, and I hear or I will have a Daria and Perry speak here shortly. So Bond is a hub that looks actually just like this. And it allows you to connect really what all of your motors into one wire or one Wi-Fi receiver, and not have to worry about having a Pulse 2 hub for this motor, a Tahoma hub for this motor. Everything is very condensed and integrated down. So without further ado, I do want to kind of turn this over to Perry and Daria. Which one of you are going to talk first?
So I am going to take the lead on this
Okay, I'm
one.
gonna make you the host. All right, hang on one
All
second.
right.
And let me say make host, change the host. All right, and you should have full control now, sir.
Okay, we're going to try.
So
Let me
guys,
just
this is
open.
Perry Fox. He is one of the leads at Bond. We had the pleasure of meeting him in Germany 2 weeks ago at a Stuttgart at R&T. So, anyways, Perry, take it away and give us an overview of what Bond is.
Perfect. Can everyone see my screen? Just making sure before I start.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the invite, and we're super, super thrilled to be partnering and working with you. I'm going to run through my slides pretty quickly. Ryan has a pretty aggressive schedule for all of you. I'm going to try to run through it quickly, but my goal is to really just give you a high-level overview and hopefully get you to think of some questions. And I guess my main goal is for you, after seeing the presentation, to have a really just a better idea of where we fit and how we think it will be beneficial for all of you to use the product. Okay, so with that said, we're basically a hardware and software company, meaning that we make a piece of hardware, the bridge, which I'll show you in a minute. And with that bridge, there's software attached to it within the app. And our whole goal as a business is to provide a great user experience. It's all about the user, giving them just a great experience for indoor as well as outdoor, and to be able to connect all of the different products that you'll encounter in both indoor and outdoor technologies, AKA using different motor technologies with one app. Okay. So the Bond Bridge Pro, as you saw, as Ryan held it up, it comes in a really nice enclosure. It's a bridge that takes the RF signal from a remote control and allows you to use Wi-Fi to basically control it. And you can still use your remote control as you would, or a user can use a remote control. But once you have a bridge, it's going to open up a world to so many different things, integrations, setting schedules, sliders that you wouldn't get inside of inside the remote control, obviously voice, working with home automation platforms, etc. In addition, the bridge works with other RF products such as ceiling fans, fireplaces, louvered roofs, other things that you're probably going to encounter on many of your installs. The range is really good. It's up to about 3,500 square feet, and one bridge could handle up to 50 devices. So you could potentially have 20 indoor shades, 10 outdoor, a couple of louvered screens, retractable roofs, whatever it is. Okay. Okay. Another one of our products is called our Sidekick, which is a switch. It's a DecoFlex switch, meaning that there's no wiring. It could just pop on your wall. And what's unique about this is that it could be used with or without a bridge. So if you were to use it without a bridge in your installs, you could program each one of those channels, 1 through 5, to a different motor technology. So you could have on switch 1 a Rollies application for some shades, and you could set it up as a group. You can have Gaposa on number 2, and you can have Duya on 3, 4, and 5. Again, setting up all kinds of screens. When used with a Bond Bridge Pro, though, it's going to give you additional options such as state feedback, things like that. The faceplate, if you notice, we show 2 faceplates on there. The one in the middle, which is the 5-channel, can be removed by the user, and you can it comes in the box, the single up down stop, where you can change the faceplate if you just want to use it in a single room. Highly recommend that all of you take advantage of this, and it's just an add-on piece of business that the homeowners love. Okay. Outdoor. So when we saw Ryan and team in Germany last week, we were at an outdoor show, and we've launched a really large outdoor product offering. Again, I'm not going to get into all of it, but you see your Bond Bridge Pro on the left. You have your Sidekick, which I said. In the middle is a wind sensor. It's a weather station, which we're getting actually Ryan a sample of. We have a universal remote and a transformer to control all of your lights. Again, everything goes onto the app, one app. And I'm going to go back to that in a second. So one of as we talk about how we differentiate ourselves in the market, and why I think we're so beneficial to people like TEXTON and other people in the space, is one bridge works with multiple motor technologies. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with many of the names on this list. There are additional, but this is pretty much high level. We're controlling all of these motors. And as you have installs with multiple mixed motor technology, one bridge, one app, as opposed to the homeowner having to have potentially three different types of connecting devices, three control systems to do it, and three remote controls. And you can see how it can be a real problem. So I think that what we've brought to the industry is unification and the ability to use one bridge, one app, and have a great user experience. To really, I think, benefit the user, one of the best things about, I guess, in technology and IoT technology, which is Internet of Things, is the ability to have integration. So, many users in their homes will have, just the home integration systems like Amazon Alexa, Google Home, or something like that, to allow you to use voice immediately with your systems. That's just got a wow factor. You'll impress your customers. They'll be really happy. I can tell you that we use it every single day. Wake up and say, okay, Google, open my shades or whatever group we're using, and it's terrific. But oftentimes in shade installs, you're also going to, I guess, encounter people that have some pretty fancy home automation systems, such as Crestron, Control 4, Savant, people like that, Elan. And with those home automation systems, you need something to speak to it. So the bridge will speak to the home automation system, allowing the user to use their Control 4 system or Crestron system with the TEXTON shades. Again, we could speak more about that. You do need a driver. We don't sell a driver. We have drivers are made by either Savant or Crestron or third parties that you'll need for that. But the installers will know all about that, and we can deal with that as if you have any questions. A new one that you might come across, by the way, is Josh. And everybody knows about AI today. All you hear about is AI all over the place. So Josh is Josh AI. And it's really native voice using a large language model to be able to say, is in free speech what you want it to do. So Josh AI is pretty popular these days that you might hear a little bit about. Okay. Again, we focus on the user. The setup's easy. There's a QR code. You can scan the QR code. It'll take you right through the setup process. We spent a lot of time trying to make the process really, really easy to set up. And again, I think that this is a product differentiator between anyone that else might make a bridge or have a product. And we're really proud of that. Okay. Branding. So something I spoke to Ryan about in Germany. We often work with people like TEXTON that download our app. The user will download a Bond Home app, but upon opening the app, you want to see a TEXTON experience. So we work really hard with our brands to show off the ability to have an experience. And that's something that down the road, we're hopefully going to consider more, but it allows you guys spend a lot of time and effort to win a piece of business. You want to keep your name in front of the customer. And usually if you give the customer a really good user experience when they need to buy another shade or trying to expand their outdoor living space, they're going to keep it within the brand as long as you're performing really, really well. An example of that, that's called the network effect, by the way, in IoT. So if anyone's an Apple user, chances are you might have some earbuds or a watch or an iPad. I know I have all of them, and you stay within the brand as long as you get a really good experience. So that's part of the branding experience that we offer inside the app. Okay, this is, again, a really big deal. And this is customer support that we offer inside the app. So when the user has an issue on connectivity, they can, right inside the app, press the little help section. We have our own live agents. It's 7 days a week. I believe it's 10 hours a day. And we respond really, really quickly. And we'd love for all of you to test it. Our average response time, which is monitored by our head of customer success, is like 38 seconds on the app. Should a service call need to be I guess, planned, we can plan that out as well. But we pretty much satisfy everybody inside of the app really, really quickly. If the problem is more shade related or window covering related, we do a warm send off to a brand like TEXTON, and we'll arrange to figure out how to get that done. So that's how we work that. Um, this is a feature that we're really, really proud of. And we have put a lot of time and effort into allowing the user to do a backup and restore. You know, if, and there were other people in the space that had some issues where their products weren't working. And you guys would have to go out and do a full service call to restore everything that was set up. The customer was unhappy and it wasn't a good experience. Inside of our app, we allow the user or the installer to back up and restore all of the settings. So they back up everything. Then if there is an issue, they can restore it right away. You don't have to go out and do a service call, and it saves a lot. And again, like I said, there were some issues that we've heard about in the field over the past year or two, and this would have solved those issues without having really any heartache by the customer. Okay. All right. Okay, so I guess like because I'm stuck here, I have one more slide that basically says thank you, but obviously it's not. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. So again, I try to stay within the time constraints of just kind of giving you a high level overview of what our products. I think that the big takeaways that I really want everyone to kind of walk away from is that with the product, you can use multiple motors with one app, one bridge. You can have mixed technologies on the job. We have customer support inside the app, and we're very customer focused to make sure that the user experience is really sound. And we're super excited to work with all of you and with TEXTON.
Awesome. Excited to work with y'all. So thank you very much.
Okay.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Can you send me back to the as a host, Perry?
I will. I
All
sure
right.
will. Let me stop the share.
And I'm not sure if Daria, after that presentation, if you want to share some words.
I think one of the greatest takeaways for you to have about our products is that our customer support really is second to none. They're there 7 days a week. You're doing an install, you have a question, go into the live chat feature in the help center of the app as you're doing the install and say, "Hey, I'm a pro, I'm on a job, I'm trying to install, I need your help." It'll pop you to the top of the queue, and if you would prefer that they call you, just say, "Hey, engage with them a little bit, tell them what you're trying to install," and they'll call you, because if you're on a ladder, you obviously don't want to be texting. But they're really there to support your in progress questions. And if there's something that takes place after you've done the install, know that there is a serial number on the bottom of that Bond Bridge Pro, and that we can actually see what's going on inside of the bridge. If the homeowner feels like there's a shade that's not responding for some reason, or a screen that's not responding, we can see the commands. And so we'll partner with you in making sure that that customer is really happy with how everything's functioning.
Excellent. Thank you. All right.
You're welcome.
You should have sharing privileges back, I think.
All right. I got some feedback that our audio may be truncated. How's this audio now? Is it good? Is the audio better?
It's fine for me. Yeah, it's fine for me.
Okay.
Um,
We're just trying to make sure that we don't have any issues going forward. So still good. Okay, very good. All right, guys. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Host participant. Let's see here. Can you see here? It should have allow me to reclaim the host. Host
yeah.
disable. Yeah, send me. Mark me as a host again, Perry. It's saying.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm stuck here.
Uh-oh.
So I think I am going to exit, and that should give that back to you. So I'm going to exit it, and then you should have it back as soon as I exit. Then I'll come back. How's that?
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Crossing our fingers that this all works out here.
Did you get it back?
Yeah, let's see here.
Okay.
Still says host has it disabled. So let me try and. Oh, he is still on.
Perry, you're still on.
Yeah, I'm totally stuck here. Let's see if we can.
Not a problem. Hey, that's all part of modern technology, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm
we could
trying
do
to.
a song and dance, and then you're up a creek. But
There we go.
there you go. All right. Oh, cool. All right, here we go now. Share back our screen. All right. So, anyways, okay. So yeah. So just to recap here. So again, it works with all major brands of motors and control systems. I do want to note that if you're working with an AV integrator, so someone that is integrating one of these systems below, like Control 4, Crestron, Elon, things like that, they actually do prefer to work with the bond. They do note that the drivers from Control 4 and Crestron and so forth are very clean and easy to work with, and there are far and few between issues connecting to a wireless system as opposed to some other hubs. So just as an FYI, I did see a question from Shona of Gotcha Covered of Houston, asking if the bond works with the police motion, and the answer is yes. So which also works with the Highland Park. So.
And I'll go ahead and add on a little bit since I've been playing with one of these Bond Bridge Pros for a minute here. So you'll see the increased range of 3,500 square feet. It's been amazing. We have one of our offices is around 80 feet away from the hub with, I think it's about 6 or 7 walls in between it. It works perfectly. Wi-Fi setup that has been an issue with some of our other hubs is not an issue at all with the Bond Bridge. It connects to anything. I think it runs on 2.4, but connectivity, you don't have to turn off the 5.0 gigahertz band or anything to get it connected.
Right.
Setup is just very easy, straightforward. I think actually our next slide, do we have kind of, oh, no, there's a little out of order on me.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what I was looking for. So you'll actually see in the app, it's this is actually from our hub here. So we've got the offices, the showroom. There's groups available where you can set things up. You get feedback on the actual position of the shade and everything else, and you can set up schedules, which you'll see that we actually have some of our office shades opening in the morning and then closing a little bit whenever it gets a little sunny outside, and then closing once the day ends to actually get a little bit of security and privacy in the office. But it is the ease of use and everything with the Bond Bridge has been amazing. It's just very easy to use, very stable, straightforward, and it's just been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And then so TEXTON will be offering this to dealers and retailers for $287. So this is a net price. And then and then as far as the MSRP, you would set that going forward. Daria, what is the MSRP that Bond has in the marketplace for the Bond Bridge Pro?
Yeah, so we're 379, I believe, for the MSRP.
So.
And that is what we do have the Bond Bridge Pro now live in pick, so you can deal with customer service for getting an order, getting it added on to any jobs. They're ready to go.
Very good. All right. Cool. All right, guys. So it is about 10:30. So let's kind of move forward here. So our next topic is the Somfy Power over Ethernet. So before kind of Jeb jumps into some details on this product, so Power over Ethernet is really more geared for your commercial applications. So, for example, whether you're dealing with a multifamily high rise or a large hotel like you see here in the background picture, historically, you've had to run a 110 cable and also low voltage communication to a motor for a very complex install. And the reason why is because some of these buildings have what they call a building management solution, and so that they can control the shading, the lighting, the HVAC, all within one system. So power over Ethernet, also known as PoE, it's not really a new concept. In fact, a lot of the items that are out there in the marketplace, even some of our office phones are done through power over Ethernet, to where you're just plugging in a very simple Ethernet cable to the back of your device, which gives you power and communication. So Somfy, and I'll turn this over to Jeb, has introduced this to their remote, and let's kind of go through this, Jeb. So,
thank you. There's not actually much to see on this. You'll notice it looks like just a standard shade motor.
yes.
With the actual Ethernet cable coming out, and really it just connects in to the network, everything else. Really, this, as Ryan said, this is gauged more towards integrators and really like complex installations. But we do have some kind of upcoming a little bit that Somfy is. You'll see the beautiful controller they have there on the right side. That is coming. It's very cool looking. It's very fancy. It'll look very nice in some of the high-end homes, but it's not there yet. So everything right now is just for system integrators and kind of large commercial jobs. So for the only motor they have is this S30 PoE motor. It's the only one they have available. They went for kind of their bread and butter, the one that's most sold and everything else. And with it, kind of as Ryan said, it's just one single network cable run through the walls and to the opening that handles power, control, everything. And you don't have to worry about radio signals. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's all managed over the network and strong and secure. And yeah, they're actually, it's very straightforward once you get into the networking game. Yeah,
awesome.
That's about it.
Yep, and then got some other.
This is where it gets not very straightforward.
right.
So yeah, on the left side you'll see the actual basic wiring and basic, I'll put in quotes, diagram. So you've got your actual power over Ethernet switch, which handles the power and communication, going off into the network side to actually handle management and authentication, and then another cable actually going to that nice touch panel that they had. And then another cable going off to each individual shade to actually run them power and control. They do actually have on the right side there is a very straightforward management system. So right now they've got everything done over the web. So you'll actually hook into the website and launch the Somfy PoE management console, and it'll walk you through setting limits and getting the motors each all configured and set up. That part of it is actually very straightforward, but it is getting there once you get all the setup and wiring and management and everything else done. That actually goes fairly smooth.
Yep. So when someone encounters a job where every window has been run with Cat6, or they see it as a spec, power over Ethernet motors, what should they do? What questions should they ask the architect or builder, and then how should they get us involved?
Well, so we definitely want to know kind of what their plan is for the management system, what they're going to be using to actually manage everything. And then make sure that they've got Cat6 run, make sure they've got enough power. And these use somewhere around, I think it's 1.3 amps per motor.
Yep.
And so the power needs for it are very, very low. But the one great thing is that they're always plugged in. You don't have to worry about charging them like our battery shades, which we love our battery shades, but charging is always a problem, right? Especially if you're dealing with high windows and everything else. Really just kind of knowing what their background is, how they're planning on setting it up, making sure they've got some network professionals on board.
Yeah, true.
And really just the system integrators are top notch.
Top notch, right?
Yep.
So excellent. Cool. All right. Yeah. And see, does the Bond Bridge Pro connect with the Somfy Power Ethernet system? So
you want me to grab that one?
Go for it, sir.
Yeah, first of all, I want to apologize for the technical difficulties. But because I'm part of that network system, I did have my iPad that I was able to jump on. So can you just repeat that question about PowerView?
Yeah. So does the Bond Bridge Pro connect in the Somfy PoE's system? Which is, it's kind of, I think, two different systems, really.
Yeah. So the answer is yes, but there would be a piece of hardware that would be between the Bridge Pro and the Somfy PoE motor. And there's another Texas company that has something in line with that. Again, I don't know your relationships, but people like Screen Innovation have products called their Troy, I believe, that basically takes a PoE motor, works it in between, and allows that, I guess, integration to occur.
Yeah, and usually if they're already doing or requesting a power over Ethernet system, there's usually another app that they're requesting. So, for example, if the building is power over Ethernet pre-wired, they're probably wanting to use a Crestron system,
Absolutely.
or something like that. So the bond bridge may not be required at that time because Crestron, Elon, all those systems have a hardwired integration to all those other devices. So I always say bond bridge is the phenomenal tool to use for a wireless integration. And when you're dealing with a power over Ethernet system, more for your building and advanced integrations, that's where the Control 4s and Elons come into play, and so forth. So
yeah, I'd like to add just one more point though, because you both make a great point. In the Bond Bridge Pro, there is an RJ45 connector on the back of it that allows for the professional installer that wants to run cable to have a more consistent connection. First of all, those guys do love to run cable, and that just allows, in many areas you might have Wi-Fi kind of coming in and going out, but just in your standard installs, you can use that as well and either power it that way or just connect that way.
Awesome. Very good. All right, so we've gone from a wireless system to a hardwired integration. So now our next topic that I want to bring up is Zigbee. So this is probably the oldest technology that we're talking about, but they've come out with a lot of new, say, enhancements. And so for those of you not familiar with what Zigbee is, so Zigbee is a digital wireless way to communicate to multiple devices within a home or a commercial environment. So what I mean by that, so it's similar to Bluetooth, right? But in this regard, you actually have each device can talk to another device, and then what you're seeing here on this illustration is what they call a mesh network. Now, to kind of simplify this. So what this means is, in theory, a remote or a device could activate a shade and activate a light at the same time. Okay. And this is a very, very, very fast method of communication. Also, it is a very low draw on power. So it only draws power when that communication is being sent to and from that device. So Zigbee has been around for several years. In its current iteration, which is Zigbee 3.0, that is probably the most secure and fastest method of communication for Zigbee. And Somfy has now released their Zigbee Motor. And so I'm sure that you've also heard of Matter over Thread, and why would Somfy come out with a Zigbee a motor and so forth. And just before Jeb kind of jumps into what this is, so Zigbee is a very proven technology. It has been around for at least 15 or 18 years, and there are millions of devices that have been built on this. So whereas Matter and Thread have come into play, granted, or the irony is that Matter over Thread, for those of you that are familiar with that, is actually managed by the same company, the CSA, the Connectivity Standards Alliance. But Somfy has a very strong feeling that Zigbee will be here for a time to come, and has put a lot of investment into this. And so we are adopting this motor for for those that that have a Zigbee application. And so now I'm gonna let Jeb kind of go into this and talk more about what Zigbee is.
Yeah, so, and Ryan actually covered a lot of it, so it's kind of
sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good, you're good. So and I'll go ahead and what he said about a mesh network, and I don't know if anybody has like an Eero in their house or where you have multiple routers and it covers everything in a blanket of communication. That's what Zigbee does. It's all these different little endpoints all talking to each other and sharing information to each other, so that you have good full coverage, direct connect, quick, fast, and low power. It's from light bulbs, and actually that's all on there. I'm not about to read the slide to you, but your thermostats are all talking to your refrigerator, talking to your light bulbs, talking to your power switches, talking to your shade motors. Yeah.
Okay. And so what devices actually come with Zigbee? What does that look like?
And that's, I think, the next slide. We actually have all of the motors listed. And so I'll show y'all yet again another motor. This looks like our standard battery motor.
Yeah.
And it will. There's not really anything to see there at all. But they do have 4 different motor options on here. One of them low voltage, and then 2 with a lithium-ion battery in them, and then the 28 wire-free with an external battery. For controls, they have the Yesia remote.
Yesia.
Yeah, I was really close.
Yesia. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I could pull that one off or not. Way too southern. They have a 1 and 5 channel remote. And actually, I'll get you a little bit closer. Actually, I don't even need to because it's there on the screen for the 1 channel, 5 channel, and the Somfy Tahoma switch. So yet another bridge, and we'll kind of get here at the end. We'll tie this up and kind of figure out how these all fit together and where they best go. And so this is the new Tahoma switch. It is a little smaller than the older Tahoma spiral tower. I definitely think it looks better, and it's very, very straightforward. One of the considerations that we came to whenever we were talking about a very complex Somfy Zigbee install we were recently talking over, and we had Somfy on the line and everything else, was so you've got all of these different endpoints, but not all of them are talking as broadcasters or edge routers, for the technical term, where they're not always passing signals. And so one of the choices that Somfy made, which was probably the right choice, even though I don't really like it, is the battery motors themselves don't act as repeaters. So we had going down walls and walls of shades, multiple levels and everything else, where we had the hub sitting in a central location. But then in Zigbee, if these were all powered, then they would all be talking to each other and you wouldn't have to worry about having extenders or extra hubs or anything like that. But since their battery motors don't act as repeaters, it kind of trailed off as the signal got further and further away. But their low voltage motors do. They have introduced a wall plug that acts as a repeater. There are light bulbs out there that act as repeaters, and they're always on. They're always plugged in. That's just one of the things to take into consideration whenever looking at a Zigbee install, if that's the way you want to go. And I'll always be around to answer questions, or we'll help figure it out together.
Do we talk about the special box for Control 4? Because they do have a unique box for Control 4.
I want you to talk about that.
Okay.
This is the first I've heard about that one.
Okay, I am sorry. All
No,
right. So there are times where a Zigbee type of a setup may need to integrate to a a system like Control 4 or Crestron or something. Somfy has taken the initiative to actually develop a specific box for Control 4 integrations. So in PIC, you'll see the standard Tahoma switch, and then you'll see another one that is for Control 4. They do function differently. If you're not using Control 4, choose the standard Somfy switch. That is going to be your de facto one going forward. But if you get an inkling that they are using Control 4 on it and they have a Zigbee application, then we do have a product for that. So, yeah, that's all.
Cool. So, Ryan got to go to Germany last week and got to go to a trade show, and I didn't get to go, and I'm still not over it yet. So I apologize if there's any snidiness in my tone earlier.
Well, you didn't come back. It's cold.
That's true. I don't know why I'm sitting so close to you right now.
Yeah, I'm not contagious, so I think we're good.
All right. We're good.
All right. So, anyways, I'm going to kind of sum this up real quick about what our new motorization offering and bridge offering is going forward. But in the meantime, if you do have any questions, please put them down in the chat bar. I am monitoring them, and I will answer them here at the end of the session. So, going forward here, so just kind of a recap on where we are. So before I showed this slide, and this was before we kind of announced a lot of our new things, right? So Bond Bridge Pro is compatible with our entire product offering, so including basics. So yes, for basics, you now have a remote control, and you can choose the Bond Bridge Pro to connect to other motors and things in the house. So very good there, and that would give you a true entry level program for roller shades that is really almost a future proof too, right?
True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. So both color and basics are bond approved. Our Xure system is also Highland Park. So in theory, if a part of your house has color shades, and then the other part of the house has say some drapery or Roman shades, tie that all together with a bond, and that's a very easy application. Same thing for our Walden and portfolio collection and our honeycomb collection. You'll see the same thing too for the Tahoma switch, and so forth. So just kind of going through some questions here. So I did see a question pop up about are we carrying both bond bridges? So TEXTON will only be carrying the Bond Bridge Pro, and the reason behind that is that it actually gives you the most flexibility with the less fuss, right? And so we found that that's overwhelmingly the most common one sold for these applications. So and just kind of real quick here. So I'm going to jump into kind of where this where are we going?
Can we go back to that slide for just a sec?
Absolutely.
So that was I wanted to kind of and Perry, I'm sure you're kind of happy seeing Bond Bridge Pro all over this slide. Kind of the what is this for? How do these three different products kind of tie together? Really, the Bond Bridge Pro is kind of set up for our standard installations where you're setting up a home, and this then gives you the functionality and the ability to not have to go buy a separate hub for each of the different products. It also, with the expanded coverage of it, you don't have to buy multiple hubs. So I know we've definitely had some where if the house is a larger house, you have to buy multiple hubs to make sure you get coverage for all your shades and everything else. Bond Bridge Pro covers up to 3,500 square feet. So I mean, it covers a lot. And that's really the kind of the standard would be the Bond Bridge Pro to kind of go along with our rollies and Somfy hubs. There's just another option there that gives you the ability to manage everything, to control all the different options. Then we get into PoE, and that was really kind of how we talked that it's more for those larger commercial jobs where you're setting up large buildings, things like that, where they've got system integrators, they've got networking throughout the whole building, everything else. And then Zigbee. And that's really kind of the question of, right now, where does Zigbee fit in? And that's really, it's if you have a homeowner that says, hey, I've got Zigbee, I want it to be Zigbee, this is where I want it to do. Those are the ones where you say, okay, well, we've got a Zigbee offering. We can pull this off. We can get you set up and get you some beautiful window coverings and get it taken care of and get it integrated with your current Zigbee setup.
Yeah, and the key thing is too is the second that you hear, hey, I want to integrate, with anything, loop in Jeb. He's going to be your best resource for this. Because we don't want you to be kind of guided down a path with all these questions, and then the homeowner ends up dictating everything, and then you don't have all the resources to support them. So Jeb is the best resource for that. It is very hands on. So yeah. So just to kind of recap on where things are going forward too. If you look at all the different devices, like all the Alexa Home or Alexa, Google Home, all these other devices, right? you know, where everything is going is pushing truly towards the ease of connectivity, right? To where in the future, you won't essentially need an app for every device that is on your network, right? And so that's going to make your life much easier as a dealer and an installer, to where in theory the technology that is built into the motor and into the hub, like bond and so forth, when you open up that the hub, everything downloads and coalesces into one nice interface without having to download an app for your lights, an app for your shades, an app for your fireplace. Everything is done together. And so moving forward to a true device agnostic integration, right? And so, as I mentioned in the past, you may have heard about the matter over thread, things like that. So, if you do have a homeowner says, hey, are your motors matter over thread? I read it because I see all these things on Amazon, that these motors are matter ready and this and that. Here's the truth, right? And I say this with all sorts, with all realm of transparency. So the matter and thread, what we call the protocol, right? It's been in beta for quite some time, but the official version was just released January of 2023, and that was version 1.0. So it's only been a year since companies have had the opportunity to develop on that and make these integration to other devices. Truth be told, there hasn't been a lot of true Matter integrations. There's been a lot of like nice steps forward. There's been a lot of nice chatter, but there's not a true matter over thread motor in the marketplace yet. And I say this because I know that Cooley's has talked a lot about their matter over thread. They're and they did things a little differently. So when their actual matter language comes live, they have the option to turn that on, but it's not a true matter over thread connection. So again, if someone does bring it up in your sales discussion with the homeowner, say, hey, it is a very new technology. Here's some things that I recommend that are also future proof, being Bond and Zigbee and things like that. So without further ado, let's kind of touch base on some questions, and I'll answer some, you answer some, sure, and going forward like that. So let's see here.
I think we'll even
grab my mouse to make sure I don't damage the thing here. 1 second. I just closed out my monitor. There we go. So, okay. Christy Mize asks, can all of your remotes be programmed on the bond bridge by just adding the remote, or do we have to manually program using the motor? Perry, do you want to maybe take a stab at that one? Since we
Can you just repeat that? You kind of broke off of me the first part of it.
Oh yeah, sure. Can all of your remotes be programmed on Bond Bridge Pro by adding the remote, or do we have to program manually using the motor?
Nope. Really simple pairing process. Nope. It's the remote. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so you'd set up your remotes to the shades just as you normally would, and then it is just a simple 1 or 2 clicks on the programming button on the remote, and then following along in the app and on the Bond app. So it's very straightforward.
Yeah, there's a little plus sign, and where you just can hit the QR code if you want, and it'll just take you through it, and it's seamless.
Yeah. Morty asks, is Zigbee replacing the Somfy motors we use today, or will we have both options?
And that's so RF, radio frequency, ARC, there's other names for it out there. Everybody kind of calls it the same thing. It's radio frequency, which is what we currently use for controlling shades. It's sticking around. It's not going anywhere. It's been around for 107 years. I don't know, a long time. And it's going to be there, and it makes sense because it's getting added to TVs now, so you don't have to point your remote at your TV whenever you're turning the remote up or turning the volume up. It's going to hang around. So the Zigbee is just another offering from Somfy, not to replace their current offerings or anything else. So they will, radio frequency will stick around forever.
Excellent. What about homes that are large home, say 70,500 square feet, do we need to buy two? Do they need to buy two bond bridges? How would that work?
Yeah. So,
Perry, go for that one.
so it sounds like my friend Jeff Bezos is asking a question. Right. So if you have a home, just divide the square footage divided by 3,500, and it will basically tell you how many bridges you need. So our standard spec is to 3,500 square feet. You have a 7,000 square foot home. I would suggest two, and basically just divide that through it. Yeah.
Now, Perry, what if it's a 6,000 square feet, but it's 2 stories? I think that would probably cover it.
Yeah. So again, as you are well aware of, not every install is using the same materials. If it's a bank vault or something, it might be different than sheetrock. So we suggest, and again, centrally locate the bridge if possible, or get 2 bridges, right? We don't worry about up, down, side, but we do say if you could centrally install it. The enclosure that it comes with is easily installed. It's relatively attractive, so it's not an eyesore. And yeah.
Awesome. All right. So Marcy asks again to confirm, if a homeowner has a 5 gigahertz router, the bond bridge that runs off a 2.4 will still connect.
Yeah, and that
no.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah, good question. Great question, Marcy. So many homes today, right, have dual band routers, right? There's 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. It's like 2 freeways, right? And you could put your equipment on either of those freeways, if you will. You need to set up the Bond Bridge Pro on the 2.4 gigahertz network. It will not work on a 5.0 gigahertz network. And that is, by the way, in line with everyone else in the field, in the industry.
And I'll kind of add to that, though. So we have some of our current hubs, you have to, if they have their 2.4 and 5 gigahertz highways merged into one highway, you can't get them to connect currently with some of our other hubs. With the Bond Bridge, is not a concern. If it is a merged Wi-Fi network, it's okay.
Right. And the reasoning for that is Wi-Fi operates, at 2.4 gigahertz. So if you put they're almost like it's like a collision. So that's something that we try not to have happen.
Awesome. All right. Ram asks, is there a way to connect Lutron through Bond?
Good question, Ram. So the answer is, and this is like, so I did my presentation, on a 1.0 level, really quick, 10 minutes. This is probably, now we're going to go to Bond 3.0. Right?
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so we're going to skip a generation here. So the answer is yes, to a degree, right? So many homeowners have Lutron Caseta in their homes, and they have the Lutron Caseta keypads. If a homeowner has a Lutron Caseta keypad, the Bond Bridge Pro can interpret and hear the button pushes on that keypad. And then you could set up your other TEXTON shades using that Caseta keypad using a Bond Bridge Pro, so they don't have to replace their keypads in the house. So again, it's a little bit deeper on how to do it, but if they are using a what's called Radio Raw 3, which is kind of a tradition, a more heavy duty Lutron install, the answer would be no. But if they are using Caseta keypads, the answer would be yes. And again, I'll be glad to. We have on our website some pretty deep info on how to do that. So, to be continued. Feel free to reach out, and I can certainly get you some of those papers and detail on how to do it.
Awesome. And then this is probably for you. What are the considerations when deciding between Somfy RF and Zigbee? It's a good question, right?
It is. So I mean, Somfy RF is what we currently have. It's what all of Somfy has been forever. And then adding Zigbee in, really, it's the main point I see for it is if the homeowner themselves already have Zigbee installed, if they've got Zigbee devices and things already in their house and they want to connect and they want to control them all together and tie them all together, that's where I really see the big option for Somfy Zigbee is if the homeowner is the Zigbee person. Mm-hmm. They've got the Zigbee logo out on the front of their house, kind of like right next to the no soliciting sign, I think, so where they go.
Right.
Yeah. That's really the big one where I see an option for Somfy Zigbee where it's, hey, let's go this way.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm going to show Jeb's email address right here. So it's jsims@texton.com. And, also, feel free to reach out to any of us too, or your local rep. But Jeb is our main person for everything motorization. So, and I can't stress enough. If you have any questions on a job, if the customer says, "Hey, I want this with this motor or this motor," loop in Jeb right away. Oh, yeah. He is the best person to handhold you through this process. If necessary, we will loop in the right people, be it Somfy or Bond and so forth, to really understand and deep dive on how to do these integrations and make sure that you have all the answers that you need for your homeowner. So,
well, and Marcy, I just saw your question pop up about how do you know if they have Zigbee devices in their home. This may be really it kind of gets you into a hole, but it's also maybe a question that as a dealer that whenever you go out to a home is, do you have any home integration that you would want to tie these shades into? Whether it be Alexa or Zigbee or Apple HomeKit or Control4, things like that. So really kind of opening that conversation up with them whenever you go to the homeowner and really just find out what they want to connect it to. If they want to go ahead and add these in. Now, of course, if they're going manual shades, it's an easy job, right?
Sure.
But if they're what they want to add in, how they want to tie it together, and how we can give them the best experience with their shades and everything else, that's really what we aim for.
Yep. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, this session has been recorded, so I will post a link to the recording later this afternoon. And so, should you want to rewatch anything or reference anything that was done, you'll be able to rewatch it via YouTube, and we'll go from there. So, all right, folks, it's been great chat with you, and Jeb, thank you for everything that you've done, and Perry and Daria. Thank you guys so much. Sure. I really appreciate that. So, any questions? Yeah, just I reach out to Jeb or myself. And thanks, and have a great rest of the week, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.